Okay, I'd like to make a quick video here about Portal 2 level design because lately a lot of people have been missing the point. They don't know what's going on. They're basically just playing Portal and they don't really know what to do when it comes down to the level design. Remember, this is part 2 of game design, so I'm assuming you've learned everything from GameStar Mechanic about the 5 elements of game design, etc. Now, in order to be successful with your Portal 2 test chambers, you need to use the walkthrough. You can't just randomly make junk up. Doesn't work. So I highly suggest going to the walkthrough, clicking on Making Test Chambers, which should take you right to the part on the page that we need, although everything is being very laggy right now while I'm recording. There we go. Now when you get to the section called Making Test Chambers, you're going to find this nice big diagram here, which probably very few people actually read the information on it. But your first test chamber should follow kind of the rules of Portal 2, and that is that they keep the same mechanics and everything else throughout, and they create flow by adding components. So the first test chamber you make should probably only have cubes, buttons, stairs, deadly goo, glass, and portals, and then you can start to add these other things in as you work your way up in level. Another thing that a lot of people are missing, and that is the Portal Design Rubric. It's right here. There's a nice link to it. It opens up. You can check it out. And this includes all the information you need to make great test chambers and the stuff that you want to avoid so that you don't have a crap test chamber. And speaking of crap test chambers, I just want to take a moment and show you the thing that I just keep seeing over and over and over again, and it's driving me insane. Okay, so I'm seeing an awful lot of this, and that is, first of all, this place is just vast, and there's no purpose to how vast it is. It's just huge. There's all of this room, and there's very little point. We've got a cube dropper that's dropping onto a launcher. Not really sure why or what's going on. We got a cube over there that's just sliding around. We've got some laser grills here. We've got gels coming out. We don't know why those gels are there. We don't know how they're useful. They're probably not useful for anything because there's no portable surface underneath them. It's just, we're just going to fill this place with crap. We'll throw some turrets in here. And it's all just generally useless. And there was no real planning. Clearly, I can just walk out. Your test chambers should be space conservative and have an actual plan for what it is that you're trying to do. For example, this test chamber has been resized with a plan. Its shape has been made unique, both using the plus key to pull out sections of the wall and the minus key to drop sections of the floor or indent sections of the wall, thus forcing you to have to use the elements of the test chamber in order to successfully beat the test chamber. Also, you'll notice that areas of white or portable surfaces are left at a minimum, used very conservatively. There are enough portable surfaces so that if you get stuck in the test chamber, you can return to where you're supposed to be to get it started again. But there aren't enough portable surfaces that you can completely ignore the test chamber maker's plan for completing the test chamber. Let's take a look. Okay. First thing to note is that when we walk in, we get some light. This test chamber is almost too dark, but we're still pretty good. If it was a little too dark, we would just add a couple of light strips because you don't want a dark test chamber. You can see that on the rubric. Now bear in mind, this is a level 1 test chamber, so we've limited it to level 1 components and tried to do all things that were available as you were working through the first chapter of the game. Now, we've got a cube over here. We need to get to it. So we are going to use technique that we used multiple times in the game. You're supposed to be stealing the ideas from the game, so it's okay to steal the techniques that were used in-game. It's probably even encouraged. It should feel like a Portal test chamber. You should be able to look at it, figure out how to solve it using the techniques that you used in the game. Don't just make levels that are trolling people or are causing people to have to make an almost impossible strafe jump to beat. That didn't happen in the game, and it shouldn't happen here. Now, you will notice that the only way to get this door open and come to this point was to use the items that were given in the test chamber. There was no way to do this just by portaling here and portaling there and basically cheesing it. By limiting the number of white spaces, you force the person to use the techniques that you want to teach them. And then just remember to repeat these techniques in your next test chamber, but add more components to make it more complex. This will create flow. Good luck, good designing.